General business. 8A, consideration of continued review of the request for proposal for mowing and trimming as discussed in detail at last council meeting with cost comparisons being very nearly equal. Staff recommendation includes rejection of the bid from Myers Lawn Service and the implementation of seasonal part-time workers to assess public work for mowing. A seasonal part-time job description will need to be developed along with a plan for recruiting, training, and implementation. See attached staff report.
Your Honor, we have a very rough draft job description, and I'd like to have a couple of weeks to go through that and bring it back to, probably just through email to the personnel committee and then run it in front of the council afterwards. Talked over with Jeff about the use of the seasonal part-time, and he's certainly willing to do that. He's done that before in the past. I think some of the students, or some of the folks that he had working for him before were actually through the school. Is that right, Kathy?
Yeah, the school had funding for school to work programs, but I think they ran out of that funding a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then we had, after the flood, we had workforce people too.
The one thing about the school is even if they can't participate in helping to pay for the position, they can at least help us with the recruitment, making sure that if we go that route, we can find some kids that have got a good strong background running machinery. We'll develop a training program. We'll list out the type of work that we would expect them to be able to do, and within the available funds, come up with the budget targets that we would try to maintain for the kind of work that we're expecting them to do. We should have all of that either at the end of this month, but I'm asking for the first meeting in March, just in case we get bogged down with something else between now and then. That should give us plenty of time in April and May to go and find someone or two, depending on the numbers.
I went back through and figured it out on part-time labor, and we're only going to save about $400 using part-time labor, because we're still using our equipment, fuel, repair. It's only figuring out about $400 less.
Less than
by hiring part-time labor.
Less than what?
Less than the Meyer bid. Of $1,895, I think it was. And I don't know if that justifies. I don't feel like it justifies having part-time labor do the mowing, when they can come in here for $1,895 and mow the whole works. I just don't feel like it'll do the job. Because they're talking about coming in, I think I read 10 hours, come in and do the whole job for 10 hours. Then we're talking about part-time labor, getting it done. And see, when I'm taking into consideration that part-time labor is going to have to take a break in the morning, in the afternoon, or take one big break, which that's time wasted. Administration time.
Do you think that Myers won't take a break?
That's figured in the bid. This is, our break here is not figured in the cost.
you're assuming that we're gonna give them a break. We could have two workers and they wouldn't, generally, they may not get a break.
One in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Correct.
I mean, if they didn't, but I didn't even figure that in.
Mm-hmm. But it's less than the Meyer bid.
Well, it comes up, if you figure that in, it'll probably come up $250 to $300 less.
Right. And we have to be able to show a 10% savings. We have a contract. We're contractually bound. If you can't show a 10% savings or more,
Right?
you have to reject the bid.
But you gotta remember now, the bid that the city put in, that was like 10% more. And you take that and take this part-time labor and take that off there, and we're right back to the same figures. And with hiring Myers, you get it in, get it all done in 10 hours. That's what they estimated, I think. Is that what they estimated on that sheet? And you see, what we figured was 2013 wages. See, right there, that puts the city up another 250, 300 bucks right there, or more. And then we were figuring in Kurt's wages, so that held it down. So by the time you figure everything in, Myers' bid is gonna be hard to beat.
From what I remember seeing of it, Roger, it wasn't 10%. It was, what was the city's bid versus Myers' bid?
9%.
9? Okay. And it was a percentage of Kurt's wages and a percentage of higher priced guys' wages. If you're talking part-time people doing this, your wage cost is gonna go down
On the city's part, you're saying?
on the city's part.
Yes, it would be, it would be good for you to show those numbers, you know, so that a, you know, a direct comparison or whatever could be made. But you know, as Steve said, there's time yet, so run those by him.
Well, yeah, we got time. That's why, but on here, they said reject the bid from Myers Lawn Service or award the bid to Myers. Well, we got time to come back with a plan and show us a plan that would beat Myers' bid. Gotta remember these. You gotta train these guys, and then you've got to take them out to the airport. There's a lot of hidden expense outside of the wages. Gasoline, repairs, the whole ball of wax. Going to break, administration time in the morning, it all comes up. It all counts up.
Steve, you're gonna work on some numbers anyway.
Well, gasoline and repairs was in the city bid.
The what?
Gasoline and repairs, from what I remember seeing it, because I got a copy of it, that was in the city bid. I went through it with Dave before.
On Myers bid?
No, on the city bid.
Right, that was all in there.
Right, so you said it, you just said it wasn't in there, because there's these hidden
On
things.
Myers, it's not in there.
But it is in the city bid, so they're taking account for it.
Well, right, but they haven't come back with a bid yet from the city with part-time labor.
That's because we met 2 weeks ago. We went through this.
Week and a half, yeah.
Yeah. And I said, you know, unless you folks change your mind, I'm not gonna spend the next 2 weeks putting all of this down. Now, have you changed your mind and you want me to do this?
Well, for the city's sake, for the taxpayers, I think that'd be good. Find out where we're at.
But it's gonna be a lower bid than what we already had.
Roger, here, this was the city's total, Dave had come up with a 23,754 grand total for city,
I
right?
realize, but that is not comparing
Okay.
apples to apples.
Okay, but if you took Kurt out of there and put in part-time people, that number is going to be even less. So when you compare that number to Myers' grand total, your percentage is going to be,
But you take that number right there and put the 2014 wages in there and take Kurt's wages out of there, and how much more is it?
you're still gonna be
It's gonna
less,
be less because you got part-time people, lower
Yeah.
wage.
yeah.
Yeah, but